But Brian, I know I've talked about the fact that I went through pre DBS testing.
Yes.
Yeah, to see if I'm a candidate. So um, I am a candidate. So in the new year, that's one of the things I have to decide is if I'm going to get it or not. Welcome to The Secret Life of Parkinson's, a podcast created by people living with Parkinson's to help break the stigma of a disease no one likes to talk about. Now, here are your hosts, Jessica Krauser and Brian Baker. And I know you keep telling me to do it, but it's still a really hard decision.
Nope.
What do you mean, no?
It should. I mean, not for me. I would do it 1,000 times over again. Um, I mean, yes, it's brain surgeries and there's some risk, but I don't know. To me, the benefits outweigh the negative stuff by so much that.
But I think my biggest, I'm looking out to see if my kids are out there. I think the biggest hangup though for me right now is the fact that like my kids are they're in their teenage years, and it really freaked my daughter out that I would have to shave my head.
But do you have to?
If I do it at with Ohio Health, because that's just how they do it.
Well, it all grows back. It's only hair.
I know, but
Let
imagine
me
being
tell
a
you.
teenager and you're
You know what? She's gonna notice such a big difference in your movements and your glitches
yeah,
that she's not gonna pay attention to your hair.
yeah,
So just throw a hat on.
wear a beanie. But I know a lot of people who are going through that, like um, at the gym. Um, Robin's, she's like actually on the same timeline as me. Um, but then it's like looking into because certain surgeons only use certain devices.
Hmm.
So out
Yes.
of the Abbott, Medtronic, and Boston Scientific, it's like if I like one over the other, then I have to find a surgeon that does it, and then I have to like that surgeon, and it has to be close enough for me to go to. You know what I mean? It's just
Yeah. I don't know. Steve and I are on one side and you're on the other.
who is
Steve,
Steve's on one side.
him and I are on
Oh, you're on team
D,
DBS.
team DBS Boston Scientific.
Yeah. Well, if I go with Ohio Health, it'll be Medtronic, which is fine. I mean,
Yeah, I don't. I don't have a bad thing to say about any of the different
no,
devices. I just,
I
yeah,
think I hate to say that they're probably all fairly the same. They have different nuance, like different things. Like I think one of them might be smaller, so for like a woman or like my
yeah.
size to not have it stick out or whatever. But um, that's going to be my New Year's decision.
Dilemma.
I meet with the surgeon in January.
Yeah. I'll tell you what, before I forget, because I'm going to tell you this right now, ask him about. Like I said, I talked to one lady who had 4 leads put in, 2 leads versus 4 leads.
And
Is
what
there
does
a
that mean
benefit?
again?
Basically, they put four. I think Steve and I both have a lead, 1 lead on each side,
Okay,
right? What they did for her is they put 2 leads on each side,
why?
better
Better
coverage, so they can.
coverage.
Yep, they can adjust it, they can tweak it. So for me, that makes sense mentally. And I know proof to say. I mean, he told me this, but if you have issues, so you know how like sometimes they're chasing the tremors and they're chasing the dyskinesia, then this gives them more options to chase those things down.
Hmm. Yeah, I mean, because the thing is, and I know this, um, it's going to help. It's supposed to help with all the symptoms that I have, because it doesn't help with every symptom, but I have the rigidity, dystonia, dyskinesia, and it helps with
Right.
all of those.
The one that I think that the biggest issue that I've seen with people that have had that we've met or talked to is people that are heavy tremor dominant,
Yeah,
um,
and I'm
and
not
the
like I
dystonia.
have a tremor, but I'm not. It's not.
Yeah.
My rigidity is worse.
like Steve, I think Steve has heavy tremor, but he didn't have the
Right.
dyskinesia and dystonia. Like I don't think we do.
Yeah.
Not that I'm supposed to speak for Steve, but
Oh.
I, I am. So for like him, they can just chase down more of the tremor.
Mm-hmm.
Where it's one or two versus when you're chasing down more symptoms, I think it gets a little more difficult.
How many years were you in when you had yours done?
Who, me?
Yeah.
I
Who else am I
had,
talking
well,
to?
Steve's out there.
Well, but Steve, they're not going to see Steve. Steve's the
I
producer.
was, let's see, actually, this week is my 9-year anniversary. I had done like 2.5 years ago, so.
Okay, so it was like 7 years in.
Yes.
I know Steve's was early.
Yeah.
That when he did his.
He's like, I'm not
But
waiting.
again, that's I think because his hand tremor was so prominent that they did it. But so I'll be 6 years in next year.
Yeah.
So I'll be kind of like a year behind you if I do decide to do it. Do you feel like I know you said you noticed like different things coming back, but have you
Yeah,
noticed
and
any
that's,
more of
and
a
that's,
progression?
yeah, I mean, it didn't stop the progression of the disease. I
I
think
know.
to me, it just kind of like masks the disease as much as it can. Um, like I said, and I think it's normal. I mean, God, I think I haven't had anything adjusted pretty much since I had the setting set
Really?
originally 2 years ago. Yeah, I mean, other than a little bit, a bump here, a bump there in
Huh.
my amplitude. Um, but nothing's really been tweaked or messed with since the original settings over two
Mm-hmm.
years ago.
Yeah.
So I think it's just time to get in there and let them play with it a little bit and see what happens.
Yeah. Okay.
Nothing else will go back to the setting, and I'm where I'm at. But I think, except the surgeon told me he expected 85% better.
Okay. So with DBS and how it helped your symptoms, because I think you said you were the same as I was when I talked about like driving and like I would use cruise control a lot because my foot would either be dyskinetic
Mm-hmm.
or the rigidity would be too tight. Do you deal with that now because of with
No,
DBS or did that go away?
I mean everything's pretty much gone away. Like I said, most of my symptoms, other than have gone away. Like I haven't had any pain until recently, like in my neck and back
So
and
you don't have like
shoulder.
remember we talked about like the death grip on the steering wheel?
Nope, gone.
Really?
Yeah.
Because I think I'm starting to like not scare them, but like I think my kids are getting to the point where they're probably like, if they could drive, they would probably want to drive because I'm
Because you,
like, stop. Like, I don't know. Like, it's just rigid. It's
yeah.
just, so yeah.
No, I mean, my depth perception is not the best anymore. So I still use a lot of the cruise control with the self pacing.
Yeah. But is that age, like depth?
I probably
Yeah.
eyesight. Yeah, I have glasses until 40, so 40 hit, it's all been downhill.
Yeah. I know. I noticed I might have to get like readers. Not yet, but like I was doing something one time and it was like I was close up and I'm like, why can't I see this button? Um, okay. So DBS.
Yeah, I think you should strongly consider it.
I know.
The
And again,
sooner
I'm
the
like, I'm
better.
not, I just, I just worry about the kids and that their age. And it's like I know like people say like, oh, like they'll be fine and that they're resilient and they are, but it's like it's still a major thing to happen to
Yeah,
their mom.
right.
And
But I mean, it's not like you're bedridden for days. Hell, I was
no, I
at
know.
the
Yeah.
it's not like you're missing a thing. It's just a matter of you're gonna throw a baseball hat on and you go out for a few months, and
Hmm.
Derek might have to take you to the ball. Maybe take Kate instead.
What? Think I look good bald?
So I don't know. Don't I think you're I think you're overthinking it too. I mean, as dumb as that sounds, like I didn't overthink it until I didden think about it at all. I'm like, yeah, see, he said do
Like
it. I was like,
you didn't
okay.
even tell Gabe until like the week you were doing it. And you're like, hey, you have to drive me to the Cleveland Clinic. Remember that?
I think I told him ahead of time.
Yeah. You didn't give him that much of a heads up. Whereas like for me, it's like I feel like I need to like actually walk them through like what's gonna be happening.
Yeah, I mean, we met with the Boston Scientific rep, and she showed Gabe the device, and
Mm-hmm.
he got to play with it and look at it and everything. So
Yeah,
we did all that. I
I know.
mean,
I think it's just like from a mom to a dad. It's just
well, it's probably you and your overthinking, and me and my not thinking. Like, all right, like you said, mine. I didn't even think about it until they were rolling back. Like, what? This is brain surgery. What the hell are you doing? You
ugh.
know.
Okay.
So,
So
all right, good
we'll
time.
think
I've
more
got to
about it.
wrap up here.
Good
I gotta,
times. So in our last 30 seconds, I'll leave you with this. DBS is definitely a decision that is not for everybody. But if you are interested in it, we have plenty of podcast episodes on it. Brian and a lot of people have always said to me and to everyone else, they wish they would have done it sooner. So talk to your doctor, see if it's an option for you, and we'll check out in 2025 if it's an option that I'm going to take on. With that, we'll see you next time.